Good evening, YouTube, or whenever I end up posting this video. My name is Zanrith. This is my garage. It is tiny. I get a lot of work done in it anyways. And today I'm going to walk you guys through what we're working on with the ZX3R, or my Ninja 300 as most people call it. This is my 2016 Ninja 300. Bought it new in 2016. I've got, I forget, 13,000 miles on it. It's a great little bike. I love it. I bought the ZX6R so I don't ride it as much. And it's been a little bit neglected this year because I just haven't had time to get to it. So today what we're going to do is what I probably talked about in the last video, which is in the description below, I think. I'm going to put it there. I'm going to put it there. You know what? I haven't edited it. I don't know if it's in there, but if you want to see the video before of me working on some stuff in the garage, it's down there. If you want to see other 300 videos, search my videos, some 636 stuff. And I guess the last thing I should say is I was looking at analytics for YouTube, and 98% of you guys are not subscribed. So if you like what I do and you watch my videos, because a lot of you have, feel free to subscribe. If not, it's not going to hurt my feelings. I'm just trying to build up my YouTube channel, and it, would be much appreciated. So anywho, let's go on to what we're doing today. Today we are going to work on changing out this sprocket. This is the original 14-tooth sprocket that went on this motorcycle. I added a 15-tooth, this is behind the sprocket cover, when I was doing a lot of highway riding. I was going back and forth between two cities. The Ninja 300 winds up a lot on the highway, and I wanted a little bit more top end. Bring the RPMs down on it, do more speed, same thing. So I'm going to change it back out because I'm done doing highway riding on this. This is going to be my kind of bouncing around town, and I'm going to test my skills on it, because if I drop it again, it's not going to cost as much to fix, and I'm not as in love with it. Like, don't trust me. Love this bike. This is a great bike. Love it. But it's not my ZX6R. So along with changing out the sprocket, we're going to do an oil change quickly on it, which should be pretty easy. I have another video of myself and my fiance Heather doing that. Also, description below. And then I'm going to add some new parts to it. This bike will be set up, like I said, to do my skills tests. I'm going to kind of try to lean the bike more than ever, and I'm thinking about taking it to a track day at some point once COVID's all over and the world gets back to a little bit of what we call normal. Take it to a 300 day and just work on my skills just because I can. And I'll see if I can take you guys with me for that. The parts I'm adding today, the custom parts, probably will never pass tech on a racetrack, but I'll explain to you why I did them when we get to those, if we get to those today. It might be tomorrow. Who knows? So let's get started. We're going to start taking off this cover, and we'll get back to you when the cover's off. So quickly, too, while I was looking at getting this cover off, looks like there's a metal panel behind it, too, that I'm not sure what it does yet because I haven't gotten it off. But to get to it and everything that's going to be behind here, I'm actually going to take the shift lever and connector off. Well, maybe just the connector off. So let's see if I can get, I can't get that wrench in there. We'll just go with the wrench. So it's just a 10 millimeter. It comes off. I haven't done this in a while, so I can't remember what I'm supposed to do, but we'll get there. So it looks like to take that off, just a 10 millimeter, and then just to note that there's a line here and a dot, and those have to line up for the shift lever to be almost level. Obviously, if you've adjusted it, that'll change it, but it looks like those two kind of go together. And man, down here is dirty. I'm going to clean this up as I go through it, as you guys might be able to see because it's pretty dark. It's just pretty gummed up down there. Maybe I'll grab some cleaner right now and just spray it while I'm going, just so I'm not slipping on anything. Well, we'll clean this up as I go, and as I start taking stuff off, we'll clean it up. I can't remember for the oil change. I think it's the other side. It has to come off this. Yeah, it's definitely the other side. I don't see it on this side. I bet you I can feel it. It's right there. So I'm going to have to take one of these panels off. Maybe I'll take this one off too and just kind of give the underside a cleaning. It's been a little while since it's been cleaned. And for those of you that are new here, my garage is rented and we do not have power out here. So everything I do is by hand and with the magic of LED lights. Oh, that's probably bright for you guys because I just blinded myself with it. So, you know, it's another challenge of working in a rental garage, something that you do not own, that I have to deal with. So, back to getting this cover off. There's just looks like a couple bolts for it. One on the top that was here, and this one down here, which are 8mm. Don't want to swing my hand. Oh man, it's tight. There you go. There it goes. That comes off. And I like to use my hands as much as possible with things. I don't like. I have a, what's it called? Torque gun, torque wrench, torque impact. There we go. Impact words. I have an impact driver that I could use on a lot of this, but plastics and aluminum I don't like to impact as much as I can, just because. Oh yeah, look at that. It's all greasy, grimy, gross. So let's see. I gotta figure out where the focus length is. Should be somewhere out there. It's pretty gross. Wipe that off. I think I've got some engine degreaser around here. Maybe I'll spray a teeny bit on there. Let's see what we can do. Inside's pretty bad too. Gross. So this is metal plate I was talking about. We had to take off. Not exactly sure what it's for. It's got a sensor on it that might be like your neutral sensor. I don't really know what this is for. I'd have to look it up in the book, but all I know is it's got to come off to be able to get the sprocket. So we're gonna take it off. Looks like more 8mm. Let's check. Yeah, 8mm. The sensor's 8mm. Got this one that's pretty dirty down here that looks like another 8, though obviously they're probably all the same. 8, 8, and 8, and then the sensor. So let's start with the sensor, so we don't want to break it. So we'll get that off. So that cover came off, as you can see here. And it's got, okay, so there's a pin. Looks like that lines up. Pin in there, lines up there. I put the bolts back inside and lose them. This one's longer than the rest. I thought. Am I losing it? Pulled a longer bolt out. I was pretty sure it went in here, but now I'm second guessing myself. Let's see. I may be wrong there. I may have to. I know this bolt came out here. Lose my mind right now. Hold up. So there was one longer bolt that came out of here, and I don't remember which one it went in. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm second guessing myself. Oof. I'm gonna guess this bottom one because of the thickness of the metal. So the longer one definitely goes in the bottom, because the two top ones are pretty short. So I took them out in a weird order, and now I'm trying to shoot it. I'm also really tired. Had a lot to do today. Huh. So long one goes in the bottom. I'm gonna put it back in for now because I don't want to lose it or put the wrong one in the wrong spot like I almost just did. But sprocket looks pretty good. There's no real wear to it. Like, it's not curling, no problem. I got this off Amazon. I forget which company it came from, and this one looks a little rusty. I'll hit it with probably just, well, I'm gonna grease it up. Obviously, it's got a little bit of surface rust on it, which isn't terrible. But I'll probably just clean it up just a little bit, like just add a little WD and rub it down just so that it's got a little coating on it. Oh no, actually it's not, it's dirt. It's not even rust, it's just, well, it might be rust, but it's like just barely surface. Once you wipe it, it comes right off. So maybe we'll just wipe it, add a teeny bit of WD to it just to protect the metal a little too. And then we'll grease it like you're supposed to and slap it on. The trick with this that I found is, okay, I'm in neutral, that's good, is there is a, where is it, let's get that. There's this little flat spot on this, on a protective washer that will keep this nut from spinning. So you gotta hammer that flat, which I did, and then pulled it back up last time. So I'm gonna do it again. I don't remember, I think I saw something in the book that says you probably replace this every time, but I'm not going to, because it's my bike, I do what I want. And then the other thing you have to do is you have to stop the rear wheel from spinning when you try to loosen that up. So I forget how I did that last time. But when I get to that part, I will let you guys know. Did I do that? Maybe I did that. I don't know. How did I do that? I'll figure it out. I'll let you guys know how I did that. Probably should have recorded that too. But let's get that loosened up. Just hammer and flathead screwdriver should do it. Punch. I do have big punches. I could use big punches. Okay, YouTube, I devised a way to get that big nut off, which I already loosened it up off camera because it took some work. So what I did is, this is my car floor jack, and it's a nice piece. Well, it's crammed in there right now, probably because the bike's, because I brought the bike off the rear stand to give the tire some more support and to make the bike less wobbly. But this is a aluminum bar, I'm assuming. Yeah, it looks aluminum. But it's got this foam on it, so I use the foam on this side and that side of the swing arm. Plus, it also hits the rim, so it's going to give a little cushion to it, just less damage that could happen to the metallic parts. And then I got my breaker bar out here with a 27, which, I don't know, maybe it was a 26. It felt just a teeny bit loose on there, but it worked. So, I mean, it's obviously not standard, so I just I lowered the lift all the way down just because up here it's a little less stable. Lowered it all the way down, gave it a good yank, and broke it loose. I tried an impact on it just a little bit, and I wasn't as confident with that. So now that the washer and the nut are off, all you do is I think you can just pull this right off, and then your sprocket's out. Problem is, probably not going to work to get that back on that way. You're probably going to have to loosen the rear wheel. Which I'll end up doing in a second, and I'll retighten the chain and everything, but at least I'll be able to get this out. So there's the 15 tooth that I put on it for highway speed, and the 14 tooth that was on it originally. It looks a lot more than 15, doesn't it? It's probably not, just spaced out differently. No, it's definitely 15. It's definitely a wider sprocket too, that 15. So it's going to change the way the chain sits on there, and I'm going to clean all this up before I put the sprocket back on. There's just, gum up from the chain lube and just different moving parts, and it kind of gets in behind things. So I'll spray that down a little bit, put something underneath this, and clean up as we go, but that's gross. Yuck. What do I should use to clean it? Little engine degreaser, little parts cleaner, and it's cleaned up pretty good. Good enough for me, especially because it's just going to get dirty again. Uh-oh. I don't remember which way this goes on. I'm going to have to check the footage. That's the good thing about recording. You can see which way the old one came off. This way? Or this way? I think it's this way. Let's check the footage. We'll be back. Okay, upon further review of the footage, which was awesome to have, so I'm going to start recording every damn thing I do because I didn't mess up. This goes on with the little lip on it. Everyone can see that. I'll make sure I'm focusing. Camera. Little lip on it goes towards the bike. Flat side out. Voila. So that's how your sprocket goes back on. And then installation is just reverse, this, and then the washer, and then the nut. But we got to get that chain on there. So let's see if I can do it without really adjusting the rear brake, or the rear wheel at all. I think I'm gonna have to take the rear wheel and completely take it off, or not take it off, but completely loosen it and slide it forward. Either way, it's gonna have to be loosened to do the alignment and get the chain to the right tension. But if I can slide this sprocket on here without having to do that, at least then I don't have to worry about breaking it all loose right now, which, I mean, it looks like I could do. Looks like it. Little wiggle. Work it on there. Come on, work it. It's a little harder to do with the resistance of the chain here. But we will get it. You guys are looking at the back of a light. It's about getting those teeth perfectly aligned, which It's a lot easier without a chain on it. So maybe I do have to really get that chain loosened up there, but it looks like it's close. I don't know if anyone else can see that, but and it's right there. Let's see, I wonder what I'm doing wrong here. There it goes. Wasn't doing anything wrong, just had to get the alignment, but looking back here, this chain is way too loose now. So either way, I'm gonna have to loosen the rear wheel up and put the chain right to the back to the right tension, which it looks like tire and load chain. It looks like adjustment range is 20 to 30 millimeters or 8 to 1.2 inches. So we're gonna have to, obviously, this is way more than either of those numbers, and I think it's slightly resting on this right now. So either way, it's got to be adjusted. So we will work on that after we get this all back together. That'll be next step. I guess what I should have brought out here with me was my repair manual for this bike, which I have up in my apartment. That'll tell me exactly what's this torque spec on that is. So I'll have to get that in a minute before I torque it back down. But it's on there. For all intents and purposes, back together, except for torqued for that part. Well, YouTube, I found the torque spec for this nut. It's 97.5 foot-pounds, and I cannot find my torque wrench. Along with that, the light up there and my other big light just decided to die. I'm assuming the batteries are dead, even though that said it was fully charged. It did not last that long. So I'm pretty sure that thing's just dying. And this one, I don't know the last time I charged it. The thing lasts for a long time, so I don't charge that often. So I think I'm going to have to call this a night. So I'll come back in tomorrow or whenever, once I find my tool, somewhere in my mess of tools, and we will continue working on this bike. Good morning, YouTube. This is day 2 of, well, that's 4 technically, 2 of the work on the Ninja 300. Last night, in the end of the last part of the video, the lights all died. Ran out of power. So here we are today. Got to tighten the nut. That's the first thing to do, which I've actually already done, because I found my torque wrench last night, set it to 97. It's supposed to be 97.5. Set it to 97. Tightened it right up. To keep the wheel from spinning, I did the opposite of what I did last night. I put the bar underneath the swing arm, so it's all the way through, so the wheel can't go anywhere, and it was able to be torqued down pretty easily. Now the only thing left to do to finish up the sprocket, oh it's early, is to bend that washer back out. So with that, I think what I did last time is I just used a pair of pliers and kind of worked my way around. I ended up, I think, splitting it, actually flattening it, like just putting a little crease in it, or maybe actually splitting the metal. But as long as it's on a flat spot, it should hold enough that it will never rotate again. My opinion. If I'm supposed to replace it, I didn't see it in the manual, so torque wrench, put its stuff away, bend that out. Also today I grabbed my list of things I need to do. I had this upstairs yesterday in my apartment, and I just wanted to make sure I had everything, so got a whole bunch of different things I'm supposed to be doing there today on these bikes. Just gonna work on this one. Bike, singular. One bike, working on one bike at a time. So that's all together. What's the next step, guys? See, it's too early for me. I can't focus. I guess I could put all this back together, because adjusting the rear has nothing to do with this area. So let's put this back together. Installation's the same as the reverse of the disassembly. So I'm not really going to show you guys every little thing. But I do think, yeah, this bracket, I want to clean this up a bit. So yeah, I try to clean stuff as I go. Like this is kind of dirty. It wasn't ridden a lot last year for different reasons, mostly because I'm lazy. But I rode it a couple times earlier this year, like when the weather just started to turn. I really missed just puttering around on this thing. So I'm going to work on getting that done, and then next thing on the list will be the oil change, which mostly will be on the other side. And while we're doing the oil change, the oil's draining, we can mess with this rear wheel and get the tension right, which I think it just needs to come out like 1 or 2 of these, but I've got tools to help with that. So instead of me blabbing on anymore, I'm going to clean that up and get to work. There, YouTube, what do you think? It's a lot cleaner. Oh, still a little, oh, we'll wipe that off. Little gum on that side. Yeah, no, I just used a little bit of engine degreaser that I've got here, which I don't like to leave on a whole lot. I had some engine degreaser on a different part once, and I left it on too long. It like peeled the finish off. So I hit it on there, kind of give it a good scrub and get it in there. And then I hit it with brake cleaner, because brake cleaner is less corrosive. And it gets a lot of that stuff off. Look at that. I mean, so much better. I mean, like, it's going to get dirty anyways, but if I'm going to be taking it apart and putting it back together, I might as well clean it while I'm here, right? I get OCD about parts. I really need a parts cleaner. That's what I need, guys, a parts cleaner. So if anyone wants to buy me a parts cleaner, let me know in the comments, and I will send you guys a P.O. box to send it to, or have you guys send it to my work. Oh my god. One of my locations. That'd be nice, actually. Well, I don't have power, so SOL, right? Okay, so let's just visually inspect everything, make sure we're good. Oh, this would have helped. Okay, so take my bolts back out for everything and reinstall in reverse order of the disassembly. Okay, YouTube. Got the bracket back on. We just need to torque these down. And then this is, I found a speed sensor, which isn't that dirty. I'm going to give it just a quick wipe, just with a clean corner of this rag. Just a little brake cleaner, just to nice and easy. There we go. Just to give it a cleaning, because I'm crazy about it. Just get any little bits of grime off it if I can. Can't hurt, right? This then goes in just like that. And the bolt, which I just saw, is right here. Okay, got those on. Now the next thing we need to do is torque all the 4 of those down. And I bought the PDF of the repair manual, which I can look up on my phone, but I brought the actual repair manual out because it was just easier to flip through stuff, you know, working in one area. And install dowel pin, check. It's always good to know what you're doing. Like, even though I've done this before, it's just good to know like what I'm working on. Sensor bracket to 87 inch-pounds. Yeah, okay, it's in. I didn't remove the sensor, so I don't have to. And then torque the engine sprocket cover bolts to 87 as well. So all 4 of those are 87. Adjust the drive chain slack. Yep, we knew that. So, got my Craftsman torque wrench here. Let's make sure I'm on the right side. Inch-pounds. 87. So I'm going to start with this long one just because, actually let's start with the sensor bolt. There we go. Okay, those are all torqued down, so all you gotta do is put the cover back on, and then put the shift and lever and everything on, or the shift connector, lever connector. I don't know what you want to call this. That guy on there. Which isn't a big deal. So let's look at this. Make sure I cleaned it up enough. Oh my God, so much cleaner in here. Like, I mean, there's a little bit of residue on it. I could spend probably a day. I don't know. That's coming off, so it's like just a little bit of surface stuff, probably left over from wiping it. And there's a little bit in one of these in these crevices. It's tough to get to stuff, so but you get a lot out. Clean it up. So then, looking at how this is placed, bolt hole, bolt hole, bolt hole here, and then the other one is, I can't see it without another light, is another light. There we go. I lost. Oh, it's back there. So those two line up, and then it just bolts in. Let's get that bitch on there. Perfecto. So back to these bolts, got that cover on, and those bolts are also 87. Yep, 87 inch-pounds. So get that back out, torque it down. One. I get them pretty close with the just my wrench, anyways, but I like to make sure we're all in spec. Boom. 2 done. I think I'm done with this for a little while, so I'll zero this back out and put it away. Nope, I lied. Probably gonna need it again to torque down the I don't know what to call this, shift linkage, maybe? I don't know. Find out. I'll look it up when I get there. So, if you guys remember when I was taking this off, if I even edited that part properly, line that dot on there up with the line in there, which this sometimes takes a little bit, because, yep, no, way off. Well, obviously it's way off. I mean, look how high that is. It's off by like 1 tooth. It's much better. Let's try to go back 1 tooth, if I can. Oh, that's like perfect. Look at that. Lines right up with that hole. And then you just take the, oh, if you guys can see, if I can just blind you with the light, take the 10 millimeter-ish. It's a 10. Get her on there. Now this, I got to see what the torque spec is on that, see what we can get to. So I will look that up and get back. Shift lever bolt, 106 inch-pounds. Not bad. We can do that. Okay, so that's all back together. It's working properly. Torqued down everything on here. Still have to adjust the rear brake, but we can take this out if I can. I think I'm gonna have to lift the bike before I can get that out. So next thing we're gonna do is do an oil change, and we're gonna adjust the rear wheel so that it's actually in the right position. So we'll do a little cleanup first, get some engine degreaser and stuff away, and then we'll get moving on the next thing. The good part is about the rest of the work we have to do is it should be pretty simple, pretty quick. I can drain some of the oil or I can work on the rear tire as I'm draining oil, so kind of 2 for 1 special. I like to do one thing at a time, but when I know I'm just draining oil, since I've drained so much oil in my life that it doesn't matter, that I can do kind of 2 things at once for that. So I like to put stuff away as I go, because if not, I lose everything. Like, I thought I lost a 10 millimeter again, which for anyone who works on anything, you'll understand my fear there when I lose 10 millimeters, because they always show up afterwards, like under the car, the bike, or it's still attached to a nut somewhere, or you just, have it somewhere hidden away from yourself. So there's the 15 tooth that we took off. Oh, I didn't show you guys. I added grease, and I don't remember what kind it was, to this side of that, and I added a teeny bit to each face just to give it a little protection. Shouldn't matter, because these are wearable items. They wear pretty slow, but they still will wear out and have to be replaced. But I just try to protect things that I can. And the grease specification was all in the repair manual, which, love this thing. And I'm going to have to bleep that because YouTube told me I swore too much, so we're going to get rid of the F-bombs. We'll keep some of the other ones. I'll stop calling people names. I'll try, YouTube. I'll be good for you, I promise. Okay, YouTube, we're back, and I skipped ahead a little bit. I took off the lower side cover here. That is back here right now. Kawasaki says on it. It's got some fingerprints. I need to clean it. It's got 3 bolts on it. 1, 2, 3. And then you've got 2 of those plastic clips that I don't really like, but I found the best way to do them is to get behind, push, and kind of pull at the same time. 2-handed option. Worked pretty well. Took that off, just kind of pops off. Tabs. Yeah, I know, it's boring, it's not on the bike. But those correspond to, let's see if we can find them. 1 bolt goes there, another one there, and then the other one's back here. And this is the larger one, I think 5mm and 4s. So you'll need, these can be taken off with the toolkit that you have in your bike, but I have other tools. To get the, to drain the oil on this, let's get down a little bit here for you. I use K&N filters, which people have told me are a bad idea for certain reasons, but that was years ago that was a problem. You'll need a 17mm, I already loosened these up, 17mm to get this off, to drain the oil, and then a 17mm if you have the K&N with the nut on the end. The only thing I have a problem with when draining the oil out of this bike, and I've had this is something I found online how to avoid, is that the filter's right here. There's your exhaust. It's almost directly below it, a little off to the side. So what I'm going to do is, what I've done last time, is I took a piece of tin foil and kind of wrapped it around this just to keep it off, and that really helps keep that off. So what we can do is we can start draining the oil back here. Just loosen that out, and she'll start draining out once we open her up. And I think there's a aluminum washer on there, a little gasket. I think it's like a crush gasket. Don't lose that. So oil's coming out. It's not bad oil. It's just it's older. I like to change my oil every spring, and I just haven't in this yet. And we're into summer. So I haven't ridden it that much, so I didn't like need it, but I wanted to change it out. I use full synthetic. I worked at Valvoline oil change out here in Buffalo for a while when I was in school. So I've stuck to using Valvoline because it seems to work in everything I have. I haven't seen a big problem. No one's really complained about it. It's not the best stuff out there, but it's made for motorcycles, full synthetic, and I don't know, maybe I'll switch to Motul at one point. Motul, whatever it's called, at some point. But I'm gonna go get some tin foil, aluminum foil for this, and we'll get that filter off, and then we'll basically be ready to fill it back up. Oh, I should crack this. If you crack the engine, oh man, that's tight. Wow, that's really tight. Whew, it's not that good. If you open this up, it'll help it breathe a bit, but I can't seem to get it without breaking my wrist. There it goes. Wow, it's really tight. Wonder if I didn't oil that up. Yeah, I should have put more oil on this gasket. I think the gasket got kind of stuck on there. But now that I open it up, more is draining out just because you're getting the airflow. So, just gonna put that on so nothing can get in there. Let that drain. I'll go get aluminum foil, come back and show you guys how I do the aluminum foil trick. So there we are, YouTube. Got the aluminum foil on the exhaust, placed above it. Should catch a lot of the drips. The O2 sensors right back here. So if we loosen this up slowly, I usually try to let it drip out like down the bottom just in case, but as you spin, sometimes it spins the oil off. It actually might all drain and not hit the aluminum foil right now. Look at that. Huh. I guess if you just go super slow with it like I am right now, you may be able to avoid needing the aluminum foil altogether, but I've got one drip on it so far. Not bad, not bad if I do say so myself. Voila. The oil will drip down the front of the engine a bit and down the bottom out of these fins, so you gotta try to clean it up as you go. At least that's what I do. And then I try to put the filter and throw it out later. Try to prop it up so it's not covered in a lot of oil, but I think this one's gonna fall. Nope, we're good. Okay. So yeah, clean it up as you go. Kind of get some of the drips
Opening that up seems to have moved oil around a bit. It started pouring out the back again. Well, not pouring, but drizzling out the back again. Not bad, not bad. Okay. So now time for a new K&N 303 filter. So what I normally do is I'll take the plastic off the new filter and put it on the old one like so. I ripped it a little bit. Whatever, just so it covers it up, just keeps it clean. I put it back in the box, and then I throw the box and the filter out. Which, I don't know if there's a... I should probably look this up, see if there's a real proper way of disposing of these. Huh, I should look in that. See if there's... If anyone knows, drop in the comment before I look it up, but there's a proper way to dispose of your oil filter. I've always just thrown them out, because that's what I did when I worked in the oil change business. So then first thing you do when you get a new filter, make sure your finger's decently clean. Mine is. Or whatever you want to use. And I take my finger, get some fresh oil on it. And then I think K&N has some kind of oil or something already on it. That's why the plastic's on there. But I like to oil the ring. Just it keeps it from getting too tight when you go to take it off like that. I mean, these do have the wrench and nut on the end of them, but still I don't like to rip on it if I don't have to. And just seat that back on. Oof, I hit my bike. Whoops, sorry, Ferry. Get it nice and snug with your hand, give it a little extra. That should be good. And then I go back and I start cleaning up all my drips, because I don't like oil dripping on stuff. Makes a mess. So I guess this time I went slow enough that I didn't really need the foil, but I got one drip on there, which I literally will clean off and then just put this foil somewhere, because you never know, I could use it for something else. There we go, we'll just stick it over here for now. It'll look like I have leftovers. I always inspect the drain plug, make sure the gasket looks okay, it's not too worn. It's got a little ring on it. I don't know the frequency you're supposed to replace these either. It's probably in the manual, but I'm not reading that. If I see an oil drip, I'll worry about it then. I just make sure that everything, like the threads look good on it. There's nothing really gouged out of it. Clean everything up as I go, like I've been telling you guys I do. Because, yeah, as well, so clean enough. The other thing I don't normally do is I don't normally torque down my engine bolts for the oil, or the oil drain bolts, just because it's just a thing where I've kind of, over the years, I've gotten a feel for it. Which means probably right now on camera, I'll over tighten this and I'll strip it out, but get it pretty tight, and then I give it just a hair more. That should never leak. Done. And that's not the funnel I'm going to use. Okay, so this bike requires 2.3 quarts of oil when the filter is removed and replaced. So these are quart bottles, and they've got ounces on one side, which is super helpful because, you know, nothing in the English, American, standard, imperial, there we go, and the imperial units make sense. So what that means is I need to get from, this is 32 ounces full, I need to get down to about 22, so between the 20 and the 24. So I'm going to start with the first one, and that's what I'm going to try to shoot for, is getting it down to that level. Because if I mess up on this one, do too much, get too little, like I'm just going to eyeball it for a second, get kind of close, and be low. But if I get it close, yeah, I'm going to leave that in the video too. Heather's here. If we get it close, like still pretty high, then we can just add a little, take a little away. So that might be just under the 22 mark, so that should be just about 0.3. It might be a little too much, just a tad, but that's not going to hurt it. So I'm going to dump the other two in, and we'll get to the next step. Okay, YouTube. So I jumped ahead a bit. I was on a couple phone calls, and I was working while I was on it. Got the side cover back on, just so we can look at it together. We got one of the plastic body clips, I'm going to call it there. There's another one underneath. You have 4 of 4 and the 5mm, which are all in your tool bag that comes with the bike. It's a little dirty. So that's all you put that on, just clips on there. It's not too bad. Come back to the rear tire. I already adjusted it. I got the tension right within spec. So there's a little bit of rust on my chain actually. Wow. No, sad. Oh, that just came off. Oh well. Play with that too. So I adjusted it. It looks like the tension's right within spec now. So to do that though, I'll show you guys just quickly. You need a 17mm on this side. Yep, make sure I'm right. And then a 24 on this side, on this castle nut. First thing you gotta do is take out your cotter pin and then take that off. Loosen up your rear axle. And then you get to play with these guys here, which are your adjustment nuts. This one's just a lock, keeps this one from spinning. 14 and 12, pretty sure. I got them out still, so I'm assuming. Maybe 13, seems a little loose. Definitely a 12 on that one. So break this one loose first, and then tighten this one. We'll pull this back, the whole axle back. There's different notches on here. I want to say the middle is where the bike normally is at, and to put that 15 tooth on, I actually had to move it up a whole notch. So I just moved it back a notch to start with, and I was like, oh, that's right within spec. So I just left it there. I then did the same thing on the other side and matched the matched the notches. Actually, let me get over the top of it. Ooh, I just bumped you guys against a fairing. Looks damn close. Yep, bumped you guys again. Yeah, so they're lined up. Just getting a different angle on it, because from there it looked kind of funny. But they're lined up, so the rear wheel should be pretty straight. It's locked in place, not going anywhere. And then you tighten this back down, this castle nut down, at, oh, I'm going to probably say this wrong. Check your service manual, but I want to say it was 97 foot-pounds. So I grabbed my other torque wrench for that, and we were able to just tighten that down. So now I've got the oil changed, the sprocket changed out, and I was going to do a couple other things today, but the parts, I'm painting parts right now for this, and they're not going to be dry for a while. So I think today I'm going to stop this video here, and I'll just make a whole nother video for the rest of the stuff I want to do today. Just because this video is probably going to be long anyways. I don't actually know. I haven't started editing, but I'm assuming it'll be long. So this is the Ninja 300. I'm going to drop it down off this lift, start it up, check the level of oil. Let's get my light back out here. Check the oil level. Right now it seems really high, even though I followed the instructions, but it says you got to run it, so there's probably no oil up in the top of the engine, all that stuff, because it's all drained out. So I'll run it, see what happens, see if it levels back out, and then it says run it for a few minutes, and then check the level again. But I want it off the lift because I don't like running things on the lift. It seems really high though. Maybe I overfilled it a bit. I'll have to look into that because it looks like it's, I don't know, I've never seen it that high. But then again, I haven't changed oil in this in a while, so maybe I'm just misremembering, or it could be the lift's not 100% level. Who knows? So yeah, I think that's gonna be it, guys. That's gonna be it. Call it a day out here. So YouTube, if you got to this part of the video, this is my Ninja 300. It's ready for the road again. It's got oil. It's got a new sprocket. I'm gonna ride it around. If you guys have any questions on anything I've done today, questions on other bikes, other things, of course, check out the rest of my channel for other bikes. Ninja 300 is just one of 4 that I have now. 4? Well, I mean, technically Heather's is in that count. She has one bike, the 650 that's to my right. And I've got a 650 and the ZX6R. So guys, everybody out there, ride safe. Try to get together for a meetup this year if we get some time, and catch you guys in the next one. Later.